very high-quality audience, some of whom have known him for a long time and have made their own contributions to Cyprus. However, Costa has slightly introduced himself. In the notification that you had, the only thing I think that wasn't mentioned was the close connection that Costa has had with the Friends of Cyprus, which started when it was conceived in 1974. The things which you have had shows that he didn't stop just in 1974, but went on to do valuable work on heritage and on history teaching. And we welcome his ideas on Cyprus today. I'm sure he will learn from your questions, so make sure that you say things that he can respond to. At the end of the time, I want to ask a question, which is based on the fact that some of us...
At the beginning, why don't you
fire
away?
Right at the beginning, shall I do it?
Yeah, start away, fire away. First question.
In Zurich,
Chairman's privilege, chairperson's privilege.
I went to see the hotel where the Zurich part of the London-Zurich agreement was signed, and of course it doesn't have any plaque, even one that's fallen off the wall.
Doesn't deserve to.
But it reinforced my idea that something that was wrong with Cyprus was that we don't have a sort of civic nationalism. We have ethnic nationalisms, which divides everybody up into Greeks and Turks. And because the Turkish Cypriot news now insists that we talk not about Turkish Cypriots, but Turks and Cyprus, I was wondering whether the biggest problem for Cyprus is the lack of knowledge about Cyprus in both Greece and Turkey. So that's the question.
Yes, well, that's a good question, and let me say straight off that one of the biggest problems in working for a resolution of the Cyprus problem is that Greek Cypriots and Turks are effectively unable to meet, except in very rare, I mean, of course they can meet at the LSE, that's fine. They can meet in London, that's fine. But Greek Cypriots living in Cyprus and Turks living in Turkey cannot easily meet. Turks cannot cross the line, as we well know, for very good legal reasons, as seen by the authorities of the ROC, and Greek Cypriots can go to Turkey, but they are treated with contempt. So I may say of Turkish Cypriots. I've been amazed throughout my life at the contempt which Turks in Turkey have of Turkish Cypriots, not just of Greek Cypriots, and of the contempt which Greeks in Greece had of Greek Cypriots and of Turkish Cypriots, which has only just been put right in the last 15 years, as the Greek Cypriots have proven themselves more successful at running an economy and almost anything else than have the Greeks. So this is no longer the case in Greece, but it was the case until about, no, 15 is too little, 20 years, until about 20 years ago. Until about 20 years ago, the way in which in private Greeks would talk about Greek Cypriots was extremely derogatory, and this still goes on in Turkey vis-a-vis the Turkish Cypriots, who have not had the chance to prove themselves, to prove their competence, for the very obvious reason that we talk about the occupation of Cyprus. Effectively, the occupation is a part of Cyprus, and it's the part where the Turkish Cypriots are presently living. So, the Greek Turkish Forum, of which I am the Greek coordinator, the Turkish coordinator is Ustun Erguder, who is an extremely eminent academic, who was previously president of Boğaziçi University, today works at Sabancı University and the Istanbul Policy Center. He is the Turkish coordinator. Have a tool by which we are able to bring together Turks and Greek Cypriots. Greeks can meet Turks very easily. Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots can meet very easily now, since 2003. But this is one of the few places where serious Turks and serious Greek Cypriots can meet and exchange opinions. This is far too little, but it is something. And that's all I can say. But it is a major problem.
Okay. Costa explained that he assumed that everybody had read the paper. Now, he will come and give the synopsis later, but if there are some burning questions that follow on from the paper and people would like to ask, if you've been doing speed reading, you could ask a question. Would people like to ask a question, or should we...
So I'm sure people will ask a question. It would be very surprising if nobody had any question, if nobody had a question on a 3-page paper. somebody is bound to have. Let me say very briefly that it gave 7 reasons. First of all, I want to make it very clear. Welcome. I wanted to make it very clear that I am not saying in the paper that I consider. Hello, welcome. I'm not saying in the paper that I think that there is a majority chance that there will be a settlement of the Cyprus problem. My personal, if I was asked for a personal judgment, I would say the chances are about 40%. But I believe that that 40% chance is higher than we have ever had. I never shared the enthusiasm. Yes, I never shared the view that was common in 2002. And it's because it's so easy to say after the event, I never shared it. Fortunately, I'd made a speech in March 2002, and that's why I begin that way. That's why LMF asked me to do this paper, because they knew that I had been, welcome Chris, I had been the odd man out. When everybody else was saying, now we're going for a resolution of the Cyprus problem, I got up and I made a public speech. I said, I'm very sorry. If it's going to be on the sort of terms which I think it's going to be, it's not going to be Greece, Turkey, or the Turkish Cypriots who will say no, it will be the Greek Cypriots who will say no. Because I said it publicly, because it's in print, LMF said, okay, tell us this time what you think is going to happen. And what I say is in these 3 pages, which is effectively, thank you very much, which is effectively that there are 7 factors which lead me to believe that the situation is more hopeful now than ever before. These 7 factors do not lead me to say that there is a majority chance of a settlement, but that there is a sufficiently large chance of a settlement to be very serious about trying. And that the next 4 or 5 months are going to be absolutely critical. I would say 4 months are going to be absolutely critical. And anybody who can do anything should do anything. Now, the obvious question that somebody might ask is, well, what can any of us do? I mean, okay, you are coordinator of the Greek Turkish Forum. Perhaps you can do something. But what can we do? Well, I think the most valuable thing that a Greek Cypriot or a Turkish Cypriot or a Greek Turk can do today is if they have any contacts, personal contacts, whether down in Cyprus or here in the communities here, or with the British government, if they have any paper which they can influence or they can write to or whatever, they should say, look, we are not saying that at the end of the day the proposals will be acceptable even to me, whoever the me is. No, we don't say that. We say that we are firmly against the nevers. Because the problem in Cyprus today is that the nevers on both sides are getting organized. These are not people who are going to wait for the terms to be on the table. These are people who have made up their mind that there is no settlement terms which is likely to come out that will ever suit them. And they are already organizing, they are funding themselves, and they are, which is their democratic privilege, making as much fuss as they can. And what is desperately needed is people who are proposing to make up their minds when they know, which I dare say may include many people here today, to stand up and say, we are not saying yes, because we cannot say yes. We don't have something on the table to which we can say yes. But we are going to give it as good a try as we can, and we are never going to say never. Never say never. Because that would kill our best chance, and we're not prepared to do that. I think it's extremely important that this message should start pouring into the newspapers. Every time a never supporter delivers himself or herself of a statement, there needs to be a reply. Never say never. This is a wrong attitude. This is a wrong line. That's the most important message I would want to give, and I was trying to give through the LMF paper. Any other question on the LMF paper? No? Yes.